Hey guys, this is John. I'm playing Goldmund in the 5-minute pool on ICC. Let's see what Goldmund has in store. This is Alexander Rustemov, the Grandmaster from Russia, who we battled with before. We have always had interesting games versus him. And he's a difficult opponent, especially at 2360. I think this is below his usual level. Let's play e4. He has played the Jinji Indian against me in the past, and I'm just kind of trying to avoid that right now. Not for any particular reason, I just don't really feel like going into that line today. I wonder if I go here if he's still going to take on c3. He still might do it. Let's see if he does, even though I now have a pawn on f5. Yeah, I'm going to let him take that pawn on c3. He can have it. He can have it. You can have it, Goldmund. Now I might have to defend it, though. I retract my offer. No, don't go there. Because if I go bishop d3, then queen takes c3 is a problem. Bishop d2 he takes. So, okay, let's do queen c2. Not thrilled about having to play that move, but okay. Plays knight b6. Yeah, he might develop in a way that is reminiscent of what you want to do in this opening. In the Jinji Indian. Okay, queen b3 or queen e2. Let's play queen e2 to defend this pawn. That looks like a better idea. Because queen b3, it's kind of nice in that if he ever takes, you take with the pawn, and it looks good for you there, but everything else is kind of a negative. Okay, so let's just castle. He can take, I'd have to take with a pawn, because if I take with the queen, then knight takes c4 is possible. His setup looks a little suspect to me, I gotta say. Well, let's just play h3. I actually want to try to win this pawn on f7, if I'm able. So I'm hitting f7, so if knight takes f4, queen takes f7, knight e5, I have queen e6 check, is the thing. And if knight f6, I'm just planning on playing bishop g5, I guess. Oh, he's actually going to do this. Do I want to take first, or do I want to go queen takes f7 first? Probably queen takes f7. Yeah, so knight e5, we give a check here. See where he puts his king. King b8. Now, my e4 pawn might be trouble, though. I do see that. I guess I gotta go back to b1. As strange as that looks. I don't think my queen can get trapped so easily. I mean, he could go like rook f8, idea rook f6 maybe. But for the moment, I think it's fine. Like bishop g5, potentially, if he does that move. Clearly, I would not like to be operating with my bishop on b1. That wasn't part of the plan. But it's kind of a necessity right now. Okay, how am I getting my rook out? a4? a4 he takes. At least then I can activate the rook. Let's do that. Maybe bishop a2 in some circumstances. Very weird position. But then again, these early bishop takes c3 positions and lines tend to produce odd middle games, in my experience. Yeah, see, now he's threatening rook to f6. So I think I have to play bishop g5. Either that or h4, but h4 looks weird. So bishop g5, is there like some knight f3 or anything like that? Some random move that can hurt me? I don't think so. Okay, so let's do that. Queen takes c3. Okay, so my rook is under attack. Probably have to play rook a2. So now I'm down a pawn. Highly unclear position on the board. Maybe rook f7 is a move he could play. I think he's just going to play to solidify his position. So if I take on e7, what are you doing? right, show me. Show me what you got. Can't take here, he plays queen c7, so I take. I think he's just going to play queen back to c7 now.
Check.
Now f4 probably is what I should do. Knight c4. Knight to d7, okay. Let's play a5. Just restrict his pawns a little bit. He's going to sacrifice something. Let's go here. Because if I take, he's going to put the knight on e5, and his knight is just like awesome there. So this is a clearance sacrifice, just trying to get at h7. No other real reason for that move. Okay, so at least now we get this pawn up. So if I swing the rook over, he's going to play f3 and try to sabotage my structure, but that's okay, right? I think it's all right. Let's pre-move this. Rook f4, I can move my king. I mean, that e-pawn is dangerous at all times. I mean, he might play his h-pawn up the board, but like rook g2 is something I want to go for. He can't really let my pawn get to f4. If he allows that, he's in big trouble, I think. Okay, so do I play rook g2 and just pitch this pawn now? Or do I play bishop e4 first, trying to defend it? I'm just going to go here. I'm pitching the pawn.
Check.
Let's take that. Pre-move this. Yeah, so he's trying to defend against the e-pawn advancing. This is going to be a battle of pawns. I need to bring my king up a little bit. I'm trying to go king g3 is what I'm trying to do. And then make his rook move and then play f4. Not sure how easy that is, though. It is nice that this rook kind of has to stay in front of that, though.
Check.
Okay, so now are my e and my h pawns faster than his conglomeration here? All right, let's push and find out. We're going to find out pretty quick. Might not be faster than those pawns. That would be a shame if so. Okay, I'm going to bring my king over to assist. I might have to give up a piece, though, is the thing. Like, do this. He has just rook c8.
Time warning.
Yeah, and if king to c1, knight d3 check wins everything. Okay, I'm going to resign. That was close at the end. That was a... It was a real close call. I guess h4 is too slow, huh? Maybe I got to like attack his knight and try to threaten to take on e5 and then push d6, but it doesn't look right for some reason. Okay, well, let's have a look at it. So strange move order in this game. He's still trying to enforce like a Jinji-like position. I could take on c5, this is true. But he'd be liable to do the same thing, actually. Take on c3. So I just play d5, and we get this pawn structure. You know, I don't mind playing with this pawn structure, because you do get a lot of space. It's just fun to play from the black side, too, sometimes. So the computer thinks I should just trade the queens and then play rook b1. But this is really the type of position black wants, a queens off position. Often I feel this eval is like inflated just due to the bishop pair plus space advantage that white has. So I played queen e2, avoiding the trade. Thought about e5, but I wanted to castle first, so that's what I did. Castles, he castled queenside. I went h3, trying to make his bishop move. He took and then take here. So I went after the pawn on f7, but my queen did end up in a precarious position because of this. So queen e2 makes sense, attacking the knight. Okay. So if like knight e5, play what? Bishop b5? Queen a5, f4? Because a lot of times like losing one of the c-pawns like isn't that big of a deal for white. So that makes sense. Yeah, maybe queen e2. This move does seem to work for white. If knight b6, what then? Still this bishop b5 move, queen a5, bishop d2, maybe trying to go c4. Okay. So I took f7, he played knight e5.
Check.
I gave a check on e6. And then bishop here. Really hated to play that move, but if bishop e2, I thought he would just take on e4. And here I can play f4. Looks very weird, leaving the bishop hanging, but taking here. And if we have some simplifications, c4, white's doing okay because black's weak here. So even though black is temporarily up 2 pawns, I'm probably going to win that one back, and the bishop might be better than the knight. Yeah, and black's got some pawn weaknesses and a 7th rank weakness too. That's hard to see, though. I mean, you're just going to look at bishop e2 and see that it's bad because of queen takes e4, and in a blitz game, you're going to move on, probably. Maybe this move like isn't so bad. He played queen c4. I went a4. That move seems to be good. Now bishop g5. So I have to address the threat of rook f6. So bishop g5 was intending to do that. He took. I played rook a2. Yeah, very interesting that the engine gives me a slight edge despite being down a pawn. Here, I took on e7. f4 might have been stronger. Kick the knight before taking on e7, maybe? f4, knight f7, now take. Knight takes, queen takes. I guess he is in a slightly more passive position.
Check.
This is similar to the game, though. The endgame that we got with him having the queenside mass and me having the kingside of pawns
Check.
was pretty interesting. I mean, I thought this was a unbalanced yet potentially level endgame. As you can see, the eval is close to equal. I played f4. He went knight d7. So it's going to be all about who can like mobilize their pawns faster. Maybe a5 like wasn't necessary for me, but I thought it might be annoying for him to have his pawns a bit more cramped. Computer says just play bishop d3. So here he went g5. So I could take this pawn, but I figured like he's going to trade or maybe just play knight e5 directly. And this knight, especially with the pawn in front of it, it blocks my bishop from coming in, and he has options like on both wings. And yes, I have a 3 versus 1 pawn advantage on the king side, but it's hard to make use of that. It's going to take a while to do so. So I kind of like the move I played, e5, even though the computer doesn't. I mean, I just like the idea of it. I'm trying to force him to occupy the square before I take it. So like if he takes here, I take here. It's the idea. And then his knight can't easily get into e5, and my bishop is opened up. This is kind of a standard idea, like sacrificing a pawn to block off a square that their knight is trying to get into. So he took this way. Rook takes is better, though. And then e6, knight f6. And the computer says black has the advantage now. Yeah, maybe this passed e-pawn isn't worth as much as I thought it would be, because it is hard to advance. I mean, we're trying to promote it on e8, and that's very close to black's king and his other pieces, too. He has a lot of pieces that can cover that square. But he took here. I played e6. Brought my rook over. Yeah, and here he can push instead of playing f3. I had a feeling he would play f3. In fact, I pre-moved g takes f3 in reply, but apparently he should just get going with the pawns. And then
Check.
Like, take. Let's say rook takes. Rook takes, probably just b5. Yep. It's all about who can mobilize the pawns faster, as I said a moment ago. I mean, black isn't really worried about like losing this h7 pawn now. If his pawns hit like the 4th rank, I'm in big trouble. It doesn't even matter if I've like won the h pawn. So I could see why the engine likes this. So f3, I took with the pawn. Now I clearly want to go f4, so he tried to put a stop to that with this move. Maybe king h1 is unnecessary. Computer says rook to g2. Try to get to g7 quicker. Leave your king on g1. Yeah, I agree with that, because I'm not like torn up about losing the f3 pawn. I mean,
Check.
if I lose the f3 pawn, big deal. It could put him in a pin. He could take with the rook, I suppose, but I still get into
Check.
g7 that way. Oh yeah, and with my pawn still surviving on a5, that's kind of nice because it stops king b6. Okay, so rook g2 is one way to do this better. I played king h1. He went b6.
Check.
I took. He took with the pawn. Rook g2. b5.
Check.
I gave a check. King b6. Now I took on h7, I believe, with the rook. Yeah. King g2 is better. Trying to come up to g3. That's sharp. Let's just say he like pushes a pawn. Let's say he plays c4. And if king g3, let's say he goes here. E7. Okay, that's what I have. Disrupting the rook coordination, because now he has to monitor the e-pawn's advance.
Check.
And if he takes, we can just swap rooks and then play
Check.
like king g2, and this pawn is going to queen. So the key might have been trying to shift this rook from f4 sooner. I might have waited a little bit too long to do that. I took this guy. He went rook e8. King up. Take,
Check.
take, king g3. But even this is apparently fine if I play it properly, but maybe the h-pawn push isn't good enough. Let's check the computer line. King f4. So what if he just like pushes? Rook h5 trying to take? Now let's just see that for argument's sake. So like b4, take, pawn
Check.
takes, king takes, and these pawns are just as dangerous as these pawns. b3, d6, here, d7. Wow. Yeah, if you play c2, we get to like take, take, and then take, and we should be winning because of our 2 extra pawns. Yeah, that's the gist of it. I didn't mean to go all the way back there, but so looks like I do have to do something in regards to this knight to try to shift it. So like king f4, try to go rook h5, shift the knight from e5 by threatening to sacrifice for it, because the knight doesn't have many squares. That would have been very interesting. How does the top computer line go? c4, rook h5, rook
Check.
f8 check, rook f5, knight
Check.
g6, king g5. The computer eval is like shifting all over the place. It can't decide who it likes.
Check.
It's a very sharp ending. Take, king takes, knight
Check.
g7, king e4 to protect the e-pawn, king c5, h4. I mean, there's no way that we would play this accurately in a Blitz game, let alone a tournament game. Kind of amazed I can still like draw this, because it seems like, I mean, normally 2 connected pawns when they're advancing in tandem are like very powerful, and just my instincts would say that that trumps the outside pawns, just how far they are. But I guess I have my share of defensive resources. Okay, so that was my only chance, but instead I bet everything on the h-pawn, but once I got up here, yeah, it's probably losing. Notice how he's advancing his pawns on the same color as my bishop. That prevents any attempt at a fortress. Like if c3 is played instead, then I can play bishop c2, and I'm blocking his pawns. I have a fortress on the light squares. So for a GM, I mean, that's just like second nature, pushing b3 versus c3 right there. Yeah, and I think I'm busted here. It's -3. Apparently I should play rook g7. So what if I play, well, okay, king f4 here. Let's say rook g7. I guess the idea of that would be to try to come back, like sacrifice the bishop, come back with the rook. It should be losing, though. Rook g8, he can even play to deflect my rook. Rook h1, rook here. Take, take. I can't play my rook to c1 because of knight d3. Yeah, I think I'm just busted. King e4, rook takes h6. Yeah, it's a matter of time. So I played king back, trying to stop with the pawn with my king, but after this I can just resign because king c1, knight
Check.
d3 forces my king out and he queens. So highly interesting game and race towards the end. Yeah, overall I think it was fairly well played for such a sharp and unusual position. So I'll have to bear this in mind that Goldman definitely likes these positions in d4 openings where he can take on c3, give up the dark square bishop for the knight, and double white's pawns. But yeah, I'd be happy to repeat this line. I think I got a pretty good position out of this. So, all right. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. I'll be back tomorrow with another Blitz game. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.